Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Owoleke TV. Today we are having our regular special guest who is a lawyer of pedigree. His name is Barrister Austin Manta, the principal partner of AA Manta and Co. We shall be discussing in detail about all the happenings in Rivers State. Rivers State lately has become the eye in the storm. So that seems to be the focus of the nation right now. Some crazy stuff is going on over there. So we shall be delving into that with Barrister Austin Manta. We couldn't have had anyone better to really dissect everything that has to do with the situation in Rivers State, from the legal angle to the political angle. So we shall actually start from the legal angle. Barrister Manta, we want to know, first, can you give us an update of what is actually going on? First of all, a summary of what is going on in Rivers State. Then from there, we'll be talking about the legal implications and interpretations of what has happened so far. And after the legal aspects, we'll delve into the political aspects. Once again, you're welcome. Thank you very much for availing yourself out of your busy schedule to be with us as always.
Thank you, viewers. The situation in Rivers State is not peculiar to Rivers State. It epitomizes the way Nigerians play politics without decorum, without morality, no hold barriers, no limits. It is a falling out between the godson and his godfather. And the fight, or what is going on now in the public, is the consequences of that falling out. Where you see the members of the House of Assembly who are overwhelmingly supporters of the former governor, Wike, and a few, about 4 or 5, who are supporting the sitting governor. What has transpired behind the curtains in terms of why they fell out, we may not know the full details, but there's a falling out, and the fight is now in the public glare. They are fighting naked in the public. There is no limit, no consideration, no morality. Everything goes in the fight that is going on. In the public eye, it started when the House of Assembly met and suspended some members, about 5 members that were deemed to be supporters of the governor, including the majority leader of the House, and commenced or initiated an impeachment process against the governor. So there was intervention by President Bola Tinubu, and matters appear to have quietened down. But as of now, everything has already gone haywire. We now find a situation where 27 members of the House of Assembly have publicly declared that they have decamped from the PDP, which elected them to the House, to the APC. And The other group, 5 of them that are supporters of the governor, have also met, elected a speaker, and are also purporting to function as the River State House of Assembly. And you will recall that there was a fire outbreak inside the chambers of the House of Assembly at the initial attempt to impeach the governor. So the 27-member group are still holding on to the assembly, that they are the lawful assembly of River State, and they attempted to sit in the chambers. The governor on the other side has gone to demolish the House of Assembly. It has now been totally demolished under the guise that experts have deemed the building not to be fit for living, so that it will be reconstructed. But we know that it is all part of the fight to deny the other group a venue to sit. Those people have retreated to their residential quarters and converted reception into their sitting, and they are continuing to sit, whereas the 5-member loyal to the governor are also sitting, and the governor presented the budget, 2024 budget, of about 800 and something billion, and the 5-member group passed it the same day. So we can see the way people play politics. We can see what, or the extent to which our politicians are ready to go to hang on to power, to maintain power, and to exercise power. Yes.
Thank you so very much, Barrister Manta. You couldn't have said it better. Honestly, this is just a dance of shame that is happening. I don't know. River State is full of drama. This is not a new thing in River State, but I don't know if I can remember if I don't know if we've had it this dirty, this bad. Anyway, it's so sad, I don't know, but before we begin to talk about the political implications, as a lawyer, what are the legal implications? Can you give us interpretation of what has happened? Okay, initially when I had that, when I heard the news of 27 out of 32 decamping, switching sides, I felt, wow, the governor is roasted already. He's doomed. He's gone. Because 27 out of 32. What else? The next thing, they will start impeachment proceedings against him, and he can't survive. He can't survive that. It's sort of. I don't know. I thought as a layman, actually, so that's the reason why I decided to bring up the issue. I've listened to other legal analysis, analysts rather, because trust me, I always trust in your legal judgment. So I've always depended on your interpretation than any other. I have more confidence in your interpretation of law than any other lawyer out there. So I am so eager to actually hear from you on the interpretation of the legal interpretation of what has happened so far and what could happen legally. Is the governor vulnerable? By legal implication, is the governor vulnerable? And secondly, the 27 members who decamped, are they on legal footing? Their decampment or the camping, is it on legal footing? Are they backed by law? So these are the questions we need answers to, Barrister Manta.
Yes, like you pointed out, at the point at which the House of Assembly suspended 4 members, rather 5, and remained 27. They were on good footing. But then, and it was meant to facilitate the impeachment of the governor. At that point, everything was okay. But then they shot themselves in the foot by publicly announcing that they have decamped from PDP to the APC. That public announcement complicates everything because there's provision in the Constitution, and it has been interpreted by our Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. You are allowed to decamp, but you are not allowed to retain your seat unless there is factionalization in the party from where you are coming from. And it is not an induced factionalization. You cannot just say we are leaving because there's a faction in our party. And you cannot even say we are leaving because there's a faction in the Rivers State chapter of the party, because the party is a corporate body. It's not only a Rivers State. A faction in Rivers State alone will not amount to factionalization of such a magnitude that will allow you to decamp and retain your seats. Both the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have decided similar cases in the past. And what the words that the Supreme Court used is that if there is no such division and you have decamped, you have automatically, underline the word automatically, you have automatically vacated your seat. So we now come back to see whether there is such division or factionalization as to make them retain the seat. And the same Supreme Court has stated that it is only the factionalization, fragmentation, splintering of the party of such a nature that the party is unable to carry out its functions as a party that will suffice to make you to retain your seat if you decamp. So the bar is very high.
Wow.
Nobody can now say that PDP is so fragmented, so factionalized, so splintered that it cannot operate as a party, because it's operating as a party throughout the country. So if we now come back to the judgment of the Supreme Court in the case of Attorney General of the Federation and Abubakar, and also Abegunde versus Ondo State House of Assembly, these are cases that decided similar issues. The words used are, once you decamp, you have automatically vacated your seat. So to that extent, we can say that the 27 members are no longer members of the Ondo State, River State House. Now that leaves us with about 5 members who did not decamp, who are presently, or who can be presently said to be the only remaining members of the House of Assembly of Rivers State. That is just the truth.
So the 5 members now, can they, based on your interpretation of law, what you just said now, can they legally continue with the normal or the standard assembly proceedings, legislative proceedings?
In point of fact, they can. And let me give a background. The Constitution puts the quorum of the House of Assembly as 1/3 of its members. The inaugural session of the House of Assembly, the quorum is 2/3. But from after the inauguration, all subsequent sittings, the quorum is 1/3. Now that is as far as it goes. However, that quorum is not automatic. A member of the House must draw the attention of the person presiding. And in this case, if you look at section 96, subsection 2 of the Constitution, they did not use the word speaker. They said the person presiding. And they said that if objection is taken by any member present, that there are less than 1/3 of the members, then the person presiding shall adjourn. I hope you get what I'm trying to drive.
Yes, I do.
Somebody must raise
that case. Yeah.
Somebody must raise a point of order that, look, we are not up to the required quorum. And if that is raised, then the person presiding is under an obligation to adjourn the House till such a time that they are able to form a quorum. Now, you can also find another provision of the Constitution in section 102, which says that notwithstanding any vacancy in the House can still sit, notwithstanding a vacancy in the House, and its proceedings will not be nullified because of that. So when you put all these sections together, and you see that those 27 have automatically lost their seats, you have to agree that, yes, there was a sitting. Nobody raised the issue of quorum. So the House, the 5-member House, legitimately sat and transacted the business of the House. That's my opinion.
Now, let me ask something that is it's related, but sometimes something beyond the box, outside the box. Now, you just quoted Supreme Court as a judgment, and it's obvious that such thing has been adjudicated at the Supreme Court, and there is a precedence already. If there is a precedence, why is INEC now? This people did this, an automatic, supposed to be an automatic stuff that after the campaign, INEC should just declare a fresh election, because there is. Why do we have to? Why does INEC? Why will INEC always wait for, even when we have a Supreme Court, established Supreme Court precedent or judgment in such a case, INEC will still wait for people to begin to go to courts and begin to go through the ranks probably up to Supreme Court. What is the problem? Why won't INEC carry out the tenets of the law, the electoral law?
The reason is that many people are under the mistaken impression that it's INEC that declares the seat of members vacant. No, INEC have no business declaring a seat of a member vacant. It is the House of Assembly that does that. And the transmission of that decision by the Speaker to INEC, the Speaker is obliged to transmit a request to INEC that these seats have become vacant and you are supposed to conduct by-election to fill them up. So the communication will have to come from the Assembly to INEC before INEC can put in place the machinery or initiate the process to do that. So the only time where the process starts with INEC is where there is a recall. You know, a member can be recalled by his constituents, the people who elected him. In that situation, INEC conducts the referendum, and once it is a majority, INEC is the one that will transmit that result to the Speaker and then proceed to conduct a by-election. But where it is a case of vacating the seat, as in this case, the Speaker is supposed to write to INEC that look, so seats in the House have become vacant by reason of so and so, and we request you to conduct a by-election to fill the vacancy. Now, like we said, Nigeria is a theater of the absurd. We have the laws, but the operation of the laws are different. There are many houses of assemblies where people have decamped. Even in the National Assembly, people have decamped when there's no faction in the party at all. But if your party controls the leadership of the assembly, then they don't take any action unless the party now goes to court. The speaker is supposed to, for instance, in the National Assembly now, if some people leave PDP and come into APC now, because there's no factionalization in APC, the speaker, or if it's Senate, the Senate president is supposed to automatically declare the seats of those people vacant and transmit that to INEC. But because the speaker will be the APC speaker and the Senate president will be from the APC, they will not do it. They will not do what they are constitutionally required to do, even when the facts are blatant and staring them in the face, unless the PDP now goes to court and gets a court order. And very often, they want you to do that because before the time the court decides the matter, you have served your tenure. We have had cases like that where before parties went to court to declare the seats of their people who become vacant. And the matter dragged because you can drag all the way to the Supreme Court. And those people serve their full term, 4-year term, rendering those cases of no moment. So that is the situation. The laws are there. Operating the laws is where the Nigerian factor comes in.
So, so everything now, that means the law is on the side of the governor. That is the implication of your interpretation right now, right?
Yes, my point is that the 5 members can legitimately sit until such a time.
Can they elect a speaker?
They elected a speaker.
Yeah, I know they did that. So that is legal.
So that speaker
legally
is
binding.
the one presiding. And besides, even without a speaker, the Constitution mandates the House to elect one of them. Assuming for any reason, in a normal House, the speaker and the deputy speaker are absent. The members present will elect one of them as a speaker pro tempore to preside over the proceedings of that day. So there is no time that there will be nobody to preside. There will always be. So let's assume that out of the 27 members, one of them is the speaker, the other is the deputy speaker. So by decamping, they automatically lost both the position as speaker and deputy speaker and their positions as members of the National Assembly.
No, House of Assembly.
Sorry, House of Assembly.
So now it would be safe to say that, or we assume that the current House of Assembly, the speaker, either they are preparing to write to INEC or they have done that already, right?
I should assume that they have written already to INEC because they sat and declared the seat of the 27 members vacant. So the next logical thing is to write to INEC for INEC information and for INEC to initiate the process of conducting an election. And don't forget, let me also mention that there is constitutional provision that a speaker or a deputy speaker ceases to be a speaker or deputy speaker if his ceases to be a member of the House. So he doesn't even need to be removed. Once you decamp, you cease to be a member and also cease to be a speaker or deputy speaker. And the remaining members can elect one of them to preside over the House. That's why I mentioned earlier to you that the words the Constitution used is the person presiding. It didn't say the speaker. When we were talking about quorum, where they said if an objection is taken by any member present that they have not formed a quorum, then the person presiding, that's the word the Constitution used. It didn't say the speaker, it said the person presiding shall adjourn the House. So you can see there is room to maneuver in case of exigencies like what we are seeing now. And by the way, this is not the first time. You can remember there is a similar instance in, I think, Edo State, where upon inauguration, some members were shut out from the inauguration. And the other members continued to preside till the end.
All right. Now, my question is this. What do you think was in the mind of the perpetrators of this strategy that is coming from the Wike's camp? I don't know. Well, obviously, Wike himself is a lawyer. Obviously, they have access to the high and mighty lawyer, the highest and the mightiest lawyer in our society, the lawyers in our society. I don't understand. What do you think would be their strategy to have, if based on all you have interpreted, which makes sense to me because you've quoted the law and the Constitution, the governor right now is on the right footing. Everything seemed to be in his favor legally. So I don't know what do you think was on the mind of the perpetrators of this move that warranted them to disregard all these laws you quoted and still go ahead and to commit this blunder? What in your assessment, what do you think? Can you read the mind of this strategy? Call them whatever you want to refer to them as, maybe strategists.
Yes, I told you that there are some issues in the Nigerian polity whereby the letters of the law are not being complied with. The political exigency of the time always takes precedence over the letters of the law. I gave you an example that if today a PDP member stands up in the National Assembly and says he decamps to the APC, nothing will happen to him.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short. Yeah, but this is a different. Why I brought up this question.
There's a reason why I'm making that point.
Go ahead.
If a PDP member should stand up in the National Assembly today and say, I'm decamping to APC, nothing will happen to him. And it has happened. They have decamped like that. The presiding officers, both the Speaker and the Senate President, did not take any action. So INEC has not been informed. So they cannot conduct because they are in control. Now, this has been going on for a long time. In many states, you find this thing happening. People stand up in the House, write letter, and the Speaker will read it and say, social members have decamped. When you feel that you control that House, then you feel you can do anything. Apparently, the 27 members felt so comfortable and probably overconfident that we control the House. So even if we decamp, nothing, we are in charge of the House. So we have the Speaker, we have the Deputy Speaker. There will be no immediate consequence, except they go to court and we can drag the matter out. Now, the other angle to it is that, former Governor Wike is now the Minister of FCT. And for all practical purposes, the APC have deemed him to be their member. Apparently, behind the scenes, he has been negotiating with the APC to the extent that APC dissolved the APC structures in Rivers State and appointed a Wike man as the administrator. You understand where we are coming from now?
Yes.
The APC dissolved their structures in Rivers State, and Wike nominated the person to be in charge of APC in apparently, they are trying to have a movement there. So when the fallout with the governor came, then it's almost like the entire River State, traditional rulers, youth movements, and all, they have come out in support of the governor. I believe Wike felt that he needed to show the president and the APC that he still controls the affairs in River State. So he needed that to demonstrate. He needed something to, as a way of demonstration that he's still in charge of the affairs of River State. And I think it is at that point that he gave the directive that, look, if all of you who are my people, they come, go to APC. So it is a pointer and a demonstration to the president and to the APC that Wike is in control of River State.
My question is, you didn't answer. That's why I wanted to. I interjected initially. You didn't get to what my real point here. Now, because these 27 members they are not zombies. They are adults, for God's sake, who are exposed and learned. For someone to just come up and say, you go resign, some of them must have consulted lawyers before they did what they did. Wike himself is a lawyer that he wanted that, we assume that he wanted to actually prove to the president that his power capacity. But at the same time, as a lawyer that he is, how couldn't he have thought that, okay, they cannot succeed when the governor himself is on the other party and he has loyalists in the National Assembly that can side with him? And they are, because as long as they are on the opposite, they are the one controlling, the opposing party, the ones controlling the affairs of the House, the game will be over, because just like we said, we assume that they have already written to INEC to declare those seats vacant. So I don't understand. My own problem, my own issue is, everybody involved here are enlightened people. They are enlightened men, and they know what the law says, especially the Wike himself. Didn't they see this? Are you telling me that they did not see this part of the law? They did not take note of this part of the law? Or they just felt, I don't know, or do you think probably they just felt, okay, we know all these things, we can bulldoze our way through the courts? Could that be their calculation?
Precisely. That is why I was telling you that this thing has been happening in Nigeria. Cross-carpeting, the campaign has been happening, and there has been no consequence.
Yes, sorry to interject again. Yeah, but the cases, hold on, sorry to interject. But the cases you pointed out were cases that there were situations where we had the ruling party leading the affairs of the House or the National Assembly. But in this case, the reverse it is. So that is the point. Now we have the minority now.
You have to understand those cases that I cited. What happened on the ground in practice? Those members who decamp continue to serve until their tenure finished. So you can say, okay, by the time the Supreme Court decided those cases, the tenure of those members had finished.
Yeah, but okay, but in that case, if we are to go in that direction, now what happened? Now we have 5 people. The governor has already forwarded the budget to the 5 members, and it was approved the same day. So it means that legislative activities are going on. So what happens with the, okay, let's even assume, okay, the 27 will go to court to challenge that or whatever. So while they are serving out their tenure while the case remains, passes through the process at the courts, what happens with the affair? What, I don't know. Now, with what you have just said, that means there will be a serious quagmire, legal or judicial, not judicial, legislative quagmire. Now, what happens with this? Because obviously 27 will be sitting somewhere and they are conducting the activities of the legislature, and the 5 will be sitting somewhere and so what happens in this case? That's my point.
Yes, what happens is this is a tactical battle on the legal front. You want to maneuver your opponent. You want to be in a comfortable position and maneuver your opponent to be the one to challenge the process in court. Then you can now, while continuing, you drag out the process. So both parties are doing a tactical maneuvering. There have been court orders. There is a court order in Port Harcourt allowing the 5 members to sit as the House of Assembly. There has been a court order in Abuja telling the governor not to interfere with the sitting of the House of Assembly. I think there's still another case. So you will see here as an attempt to maneuver the opponent into a difficult position while you continue to carry out your own functions. So if the case should go forward, the party that is doing the, both parties are sitting now, the 27 are sitting in their legislative quarters and purporting to pass laws. The 5, a group of 5, they have been given a hall in the government house where they are sitting as the House of Assembly. Now, both, you can see that the 5 members also have a court order backing them. Even if it is ex parte, they have a court order backing their proceeding, backing their statutes, and backing their sitting. So what I see here is just a legal maneuver. You maneuver and get in a position where you are covered by court order, by law, and allow the other party to suffer the process of going through the court while the time and years pass by. So we will still yet see how this is still evolving. The situation is still evolving. And don't forget, the APC have powers of the police, the army, they control the security agencies, and they can use it. I'm already hearing the chairman of the APC in Rivers State saying that they will commence impeachment. The 27 group will commence impeachment against the governor, and that they will also petition the National Judicial Commission against the judge that granted that order. Now, don't forget that this process does not stop at the House of Assembly. The chief judge is an important element, is an important link in this chain. Assuming the group of 27 now pass or initiate impeachment proceedings and bring out articles of impeachment and offenses and serve it on the governor, and they request the chief judge to constitute a 7-man panel to investigate. Under the Constitution, If that 7-man panel finds that the governor is not guilty of those allegations, that's the end of the matter. The House of Assembly is powerless to proceed. And we can see it happened in Nasarawa State when Makura was elected and he inherited a legislature that were predominantly PDP. And they moved to impeach him. By the time the chief judge constituted a 7-man panel, the 7-man panel sat and said, look, we don't find the governor guilty of the offenses alleged against him. So there was therefore no report on which the House of Assembly could act to remove the governor. So this thing, like I said, the situation is still evolving. Each party is trying to maneuver and position himself in the fight that is ongoing. So we are still yet to see the final strikes in this battle that is going on now.
So what you just said now, the implication is, okay, if for Fubara, the governor, has a chief judge as his loyalist, any case or any impeachment case will be dead on arrival.
Exactly. If the chief judge weighs in on the side of the governor, let me tell you what happens. When under the Constitution, the 7-man panel is supposed to be people of integrity, people of unimpeachable character.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the people that will be appointed by the chief judge.
Chief judge.
You can appoint anybody and say the person is a person of integrity.
Of course.
And it cannot be disputed once you cannot bring a criminal conviction from court that, oh, this man, how will you now dispute the integrity of such people? So the chief judge has a big role to play in this matter. He can simply appoint people. In point of fact, what happens in reality is that the party that has the ears of the chief judge used to submit the names of the people they want in that committee. That's the truth. And the chief judge will just stamp
it.
So that they,
oh my God,
like now, assuming the APC Rivers are in working terms with the chief judge, they will be the ones to submit the names of the people they want to be on that committee. And the chief judge will just announce that he has set up this committee, these are the people. The same thing in this situation, if he is sympathetic to Fubara, he will just collect names from Fubara that he believes will rule in favor of Fubara. And he will appoint them, and they will sit and dismiss the allegation as unfounded. And then the whole impeachment proceedings become dead at that point.
Anyway, excuse me. Yes, honestly, I am happy at this interpretation because anyway, I'll come to that. Now, what I of course we hear of mass resignation. What do you think could be the reason behind it? Like the Attorney General of the state tendered his resignation. When I heard it, I just felt, yes, I read the resignation letter, but I just felt it was actually compelled to write that, to tender his resignation. Probably he didn't want to, the governor didn't want to fire him, but I don't believe he asked him to tender his resignation because obviously the lawyer has served, was the one who served Wike for 8 good years. And continued with Fubara, sort of. So I felt Fubara felt this guy can never be loyal to me. There's just no way. This is just impossible for him to be loyal. Therefore, he has to maybe the guy was nice to him, so he decided to respect him to say, okay, please, you're a guy, you're a good guy. Since I came in, you've been good to me. You've been nice, but I don't trust you. I don't believe you can.
No, that is not the situation in Rivers is not as straightforward as that. The situation in Rivers is that the governor had no say and who became a commissioner, who became even his chief of staff. The portfolios, the names of commissioners, their ministries and portfolios were handed over to the governor by the former governor by Wike. So they are all his loyalists. As of yesterday, 11 commissioners resigned, not one. And some are still resigning. The chief of staff has also resigned. All are loyalists of Wike who work closely with Wike.
Yeah, my point is, why are they resigning?
They are resigning because they have been instructed by Wike to resign. It's as simple as that.
No, but
because he is fighting the governor. So he has asked them, their position is difficult. They cannot be supporting the governor against their godfather, Wike, while remaining there. So they have to go. And the governor has come out to say, look, if you are a loyalist of Wike, resign now before I dismiss you.
Okay. That's what I want to hear.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. That answers my question.
Before the governor said that they have resigned, most of them have resigned. This statement is now on the remaining ones.
Okay.
It's like saying, okay, I'm drawing a line. If you want to be with me, stand this side. If you want to be with my adversary, stand the other side. That is what has happened now.
Honestly, I still don't know. Anyway, this is the norm globally. I don't know what is the problem. Why is it that majority always goes with the wrong side? Okay. Anyway, the question has an answer that I know, and probably virtually everyone knows about it. It has to be with inducements, financial inducements or power inducements or thereabout. Because I don't get it. Why will Wike be controlling people as if these people are just stooges to him? Anyway, they are stooges, but as if they are robots. As if they are robots, for God's sake. You just press button, you just tell you whatever, and people just start misbehaving. These are adults, for God's sake, who are exposed. Now, this governor, Fubara, was a loyalist too. He was there as a result of Wike's power. Or he is there, rather, as a result of Wike's power. Now he decided to do the right thing, to switch. And honestly, I am personally, I am a very principled person. I always want to stick to my commitment. Whatever I'm committed to do, whatever promise I make, I always want to keep it. But at the same time, Fubara, I understand his situation. When obviously, if you want to become, Wike was so powerful, was the one controlling River State. He was very, very. River State was within the clutches of his clutches. So that time, probably Fubara had to agree to any condition to be able to get there, because only a sane person, an insane man or woman or person will agree to this ridiculous. I don't think there is any. We have had these issues in several states. This is not a new stuff where your predecessor want to control the successor. The predecessor want to control. There's no that we have it, but this one is just massive. Tell me, how will you be why will you want to be the de facto governor of it? You've just finished ruling after 8 years. You went back to ruling as the minister of federal capital, which is like a governorship as well. For God's sake. Now you want to still control, you want to still keep your thumb, your fingers on River State to remain as a de facto governor by appointing chief of all the executive members of the same governor. What I don't understand. What do you take this man for? A robot?
No, you see, you are forgetting something. As of today, Wike is a loyalist of Tinubu. He saw the way Tinubu held Lagos State for 20-something years, appointing anybody that he wants several years after he left. He, up to now, he controls who becomes governor, who gets anything in Lagos State. So he felt that he could do the same thing in River State. I'm sure he was attracted to what Tinubu did in Lagos State and said, look, I can do this in River State. I can have that structure that will outlive me as governor. I can continue to pull the strings, appoint governors like, after all, Tinubu has done it. He has done it in Lagos, and he continues to hold on to those structures for 20-something years. Why can't I do it? So he sits in Rivers and looks at what happened in Lagos and said, look, I can do it here as well. If it is money, Lagos have money they can use. The River State also have money. So why can't I have this structure that we can continue to use to appoint governors? So he did the same thing. If you recall, in Lagos, Tinubu personally approved every member of the House of Assembly and all the commissioners. Ambode had problem when he ran into problem with some of those things that Tinubu was doing. So they refused. Tinubu was a bit more finesse because he allowed him to finish one term before denying him the second term, in spite of the fact that the governors, everybody begged Tinubu to allow him to do second term, but he refused. So Wike is looking at Lagos and say, well, I can do that in Rivers. So he got everybody, the chairman of local governments, councillors, chief of staff to the governor. He wrote the name of all the commissioners, everything, the contracts, the projects that Fubara is to do were all specified and written down and handed over to him by Wike. So he is trying to replicate what happened in Lagos.
Yeah, but you see, that mentality, I don't know who gave him that mentality that can happen, that can take. Look, the Yorubas, they are easily manipulated. One thing about, and besides, Tinubu, that he succeeded in Lagos and Rivers, these are completely different topography, different mindset, different thing entirely, different policy, different way of life, different way of doing things or whatever. Yoruba, if Tinubu succeeded, so one. Now, the success of such thing, because that Tinubu has held on to Lagos State this long, honestly, I don't see it as ordinary. I don't see it as something that people are just operating on their human senses, on their natural being. I am telling you, because look, human beings are, when they say change is constant, human beings are bound to change. There is just the possibility of human being changing is very, very broad, much, much broader, outweighs the possibility of sticking to what you agreed on. So Lagos State, as Tinubu has succeeded in Lagos State in entrenching himself as the de facto life leader of that state, it goes beyond the ordinary, because it's been over about 20 years or more now, he has held on to Lagos State since when he was a governor. So the thing is, Rivers people are independent-minded people. They are naturally the South people. They are independent-minded people. They are not that kind of people who, they are not like the Northerners or the Westerners, the Yorubas, who believe in one person, just follow one person. They have one leader, and when whatever the leader says, everybody follows. They are not like that. And that's the problem. That's the problem with South. I don't know why he didn't think that before taking this step. And that's why it's backfiring right now. A sort of. So honestly, that is still stupid. Just like I said, the Lagos we succeeded myopically and with shallow-mindedness. The people that has sheepishly followed, obeyed Tinubu all these years. That's the mindset we are talking about. An average Ijaw person or Ikwere person, it's just like an Igbo. Part of them are Igbos, for God's sake. You think, why do they refer to Igbos that Igbos don't have king? They don't believe in they don't believe in royal settings or whatever. They said Igbo it means that Igbos does not have king. Igbos does not have king. That is because an average Igbo man is so independent. They believe in they use their common sense. You just can't utter a word and everybody follows you. And that is why actually that is a virtue, but at the same time that virtue is affecting them. It's affecting the eastern part of Nigeria now. Now I'm not deviating, but I'm just trying to explain to you to our viewers why whatever, if that is Wike's game plan, that was a foolish game plan, because his region is where he came from is completely different from where Tinubu came from. So these are different topographies, different way of working, a different way of doing things, sort of. So that was stupid. That was foolish. If that is his calculation.
Let me add that you forget that they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Wike ruled Rivers State like a king, like a god. Every other person was like a servant. Look at these people that were chief of staff. Look at the attorney general as a professor. The attorney general has just resigned. That's Wike. He's a professor. All these people were like servants to Wike, and he had absolute power throughout Rivers State. So I think that got into his head. That got into his mind that with power and money, you could control things. But like you pointed out, Lagos, Rivers State is not Lagos. Lagos is more or less homogeneous. If you go to rivers, you see the riverine people, you see the upland, you see Ikwere, you see Ijaw, you see other people. And the more complicating fact is the first time an Ijaw is being governor.
Yeah.
All the previous governors are mostly Ikweres, including Wike. So this governorship has gone to the Ijaws. And by nature, you know, the Ijaws are already militant.
Militant, of course.
So you now want to remove the only governor that they have ever had. They are not going to sit aside and allow you to do that. You don't have that kind of situation in Lagos, which is the entire area of Lagos is cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Lagos is a small place. Everywhere is cosmopolitan. Rivers State is not like that. So, but when power enters your head and you have exercised it for such a long time, and you are still in power, assuming Wike did not get this ministerial seat now, he will not be able to fight effectively. You know that?
Yeah, of course.
Assuming he was just an ordinary citizen in Rivers or Abuja, he will not be able to fight. One, he will not have the money to settle his group.
Yes.
And he will not have the authority. But he is still in power. One way or another, now federal power. So that feeling goes that he's still powerful, he can still do this thing and get away with it. There is no rational thinking at that point when you allow power to corrupt you to that level. The rational thinking is gone. You continue to look at everybody, even the governor, who is now a governor, you look at him as your boy, and you talk to him in that way. forgetting that no matter how he is, our people say that even if you push a goat for a long time, it will turn and bite you, even if it's a goat.
Yeah.
The governor was a very simple person, very shy person. But when you become a governor, you see the paraphernalia of office.
Power, yeah.
You see the outriders, the police, the soldiers, everything revolves around you. You also begin to feel powerful. And you will not tolerate certain language that will be addressed to you like before. So from there, you see gradually a kind of dissent will come up, and then it will blow up into disagreement. So people are telling you that, look, this thing, you do this for rivers, do this, but it goes against what your godfather has sent to you. At a point, you want to do favors to people, but the godfather will say no. So there's a point you will reach that you begin to, your mind will begin to resist that imposition because you have power. You have power. You control the money. You control people. So anybody in power does not like to be imposed upon anyhow like that. So it's in the nature of human beings to resist that kind of imposition. So it is bound to happen. It was just a matter of time. What is strange is that it happened so quick and so early in the administration.
Yeah, because Wike was in a hurry to no, not was in a hurry. Fubara was impatient, was not patient enough. He's not ready to take this whole shit from. It was the domination is just too much. It was overwhelming. What do you know what it means for somebody? You just became a governor and they just sent you a list. Everyone, virtually everyone around you, the entire executive council are all from you don't have say over them. That was do you know what it means? It obviously means that you will have commissioners and personal aides who are not answerable to you. You give instructions, they flout it, and you cannot fire them.
They can even talk to you anyhow.
They can talk to you anyhow.
They can talk to the governor anyhow.
Of course.
Because they know his master.
That is
they
it.
have a way with the master.
Of course.
And they are doing the bidding of, they are there to monitor the governor and report to the master. So they feel confident to challenge the governor to talk to him anyhow. Not to give him the respect that he requires.
Anybody who like in Lagos, all the people they were fools and stupid to have done that. For one person to just come and control you, control your leadership, for God's sake. You don't have say on anything, any important matters. That was crazy. So honestly, I praise this Fubara's courage. I am so happy that he flouted that evil and wicked agreement. I am a man of commitment and believe in promises and commitment on promises. I'm a very principled person. Whatever I say, I keep to my word. But when it comes to evil promises, I will never keep to. If I were in his shoes, okay, I can do that. What he just did. Okay, I want to do because there are situations where you find yourself. You want to give the state something different. You want to really govern the right way. You want to do the right things. And for you to get there, if you're in the midst of jackals, if you're in the midst of hawks and crocodiles, if you are in the swamp, what you do is, first of all, pretend to be one of the members of the swamp to be able to get there. So there is another smart way of good people getting to power and turning around to bite those evil people who took them there. I just hope people, all those politicians who have good intentions, good intention for purposeful leadership, I just hope they will take a cue from what Fubara just did. Honestly, yeah, sometimes, because if you want to do the right thing and you say, okay, you're a principled person, okay, they bring you, okay, you have to bring up an agreement. You have to agree to this before you can get to this point. Some principled people, like I used to do that. I'll say, no, I won't do that. It's against my conscience, sort of. But honestly, I think it will be a wise idea for anyone who finds himself, any good person who finds himself in such situation, to actually play along and get what you need to get to that point where you can now have the power to do the right thing, to right the wrongs. So on Fubara's case, honestly,
remember what happened in Anambra State?
Yes.
Between Ngige and
Chris Ngige, yes. Oba, correct. So that it's been happening or whatever, but in the case of Chris Ngige, he didn't play his card well. Otherwise, he could have, because Ngige was actually out to do the same thing. He turned against Oba, wanted to do the right thing. He already started doing some good projects, sort of. But Ngige was, I don't know, he didn't plan well. Probably, I don't know what happened. Anyway, that is
that one was Chris Uba.
Yes.
Is virtually an illiterate.
Yeah.
He's actually a stark illiterate. But they entered into an agreement with Chris Ngige to help him get the power. They sponsored and financed him, and he got the power. And then they now set the rules of what he will be giving them. That is where the problem began. And they wrote letters, they made him sign letters of resignation in advance.
Yeah.
Which they had copies. They had copies. Yes. So what they now try to do is they kidnapped him as governor, took him to a certain place, and then sent the letter that put a date on the letter that he had pre-signed and sent it to the House of Assembly. So the House of Assembly could pronounce that he has resigned. That's governor.
Nigeria. Anyway, that is just so Fubara. Honestly, I love what he did. Obviously, he had something in mind. He had an intention. Probably, I hope the intention he has. He had while signing that document, or while agreeing to this nonsense, evil, wicked agreements. I hope it is noble. I hope it is for the part. Anyway, I listened to his speech. Was this yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday. He seemed to be, according to his speech, is for the people. He wants to do things, wants to really work for the people. He wants to do something that will benefit the masses. I hope he goes with that, because excuse me, if he doesn't go with that, obviously people will turn against him. So at this point, he has to, there must be a distinction between him and Wike. Because if his policies, leadership policies, goes in line with that of Wike, he cannot win this battle. The only way he can win this battle is to distinguish himself from Wike's way of leadership. Otherwise, he will lose this battle. Wike will fight him to stupor, and he will eventually lose the battle. But the moment he stands on the side of people, he does everything differently from Wike. His leadership style is different from Wike, and he embraces the masses more. He's on the side of the masses. The masses are the ones that will actually stand for him, because people will go on the streets to protest against that. People won't stick their neck. The masses will stick their neck. Some of them want to sacrifice even their life to make sure that he remains in power, especially when it has to do with the tribal issue, tribal stuff. This is the first time. That alone, and the Ijaws are so powerful. In the entire Niger Delta or whatever, they are so powerful. So for the fact that this is the first time an Ijaw man will become the governor, that alone, with this as a weapon, coupled with, say, okay, you are on their side, you are really working for them, your leadership style is different. Is a humble leadership style that is on the side of the people. As long as he distinguishes himself, clear distinction
between him and Igwe, as long as he paints the picture of Wike as the evil, and him as the good. The moment he can establish this fact, this picture, if he is able to establish this picture of distinction between Wike as the evil man and Fubara as the good person, as the good man, he will succeed. That's just the truth. He will be able to, he will beat Wike hands down. And I'm happy, honestly, when we were giving all this interpretation of law, honestly, I was so excited because I've listened to some lawyers and some of them senior lawyers or whatever. I looked at them. I said, I wasn't happy. I said, okay, I want to listen to by Samantha because, like I said, your legal interpretation has always been supreme to me. That is, I have your interpretation of law. It has attracted my highest confidence on legal issues, on legal matters. So I actually wanted to hear, so while you were giving all this interpretation and giving citations, I was so glad. I felt so happy, and I feel even better right now because the law, that's the most important thing. The law is on the side of Fubara. And if the law is on the side, and like I said, let him establish the picture of the people being on his side. Since the law is on his side, let the people be on his side as well. The moment he has these two weapons, he will succeed. I understand that Wike controls the power of the police, the federal might. There's no doubt about that. The military, the police, or whatever. Honestly, even with that, Fubara law is on his side, the people on his side, and if the people right now, we cannot surely say that the people are on his side right now until he will be the one to establish that picture, to establish that fact, by his conduct and his leadership policies and rules. That's the way he can actually establish. If he establishes these two or whatever, even with the police and the military or the federal might or whatever, he can still surmount the challenges. And I think he will succeed in surmounting the challenges if he sticks to if he does the right thing. Barrister.
Right now, public sympathy in River State and across the country seems to be with Fubara. And you know, in every situation of David and Goliath,
yes,
public sympathy used to be with David.
Yeah, David. All right.
So now people are looking at this very unobstructed, calm, cool person, shy, against a powerful Wike. And there is public sympathy, not only on that, but also on the fact that you have served your term, 8 years. You cannot also continue to serve another term in the name of somebody.
Honestly, yeah.
You cannot be remotely controlling the person who is there. If something goes wrong, who will hold the governor? But somebody is sitting somewhere pulling the strings. There have been speculations on the reasons for their split. But like I said,
what are the speculations? I don't think I've had anyone. What are the speculations? Sorry.
When I began, I told you that the split happened in the dark, but we are now seeing in the public the manifestation of the disagreement. The split, the speculations are one about money, the amount of money that Fubara is supposed to be given to Wike monthly or at certain intervals. Two, you know, in the twilight of Wike's administration, he started a project called Port Harcourt Ring Road.
Yes.
And that is, it was to cost 100 and something billion.
Wow.
One of the largest projects.
My God.
Which I think on the day of inauguration or slightly after that, he made a speech and said that if Fubara would complete that project, then nobody will challenge him for second term in coming up.
Wow.
Now, the problem, there's a lot of opposition to that project because of season of land grab, season of land from people, is supposed to be a road round Port Harcourt. And the sheer amount of money supposed to go there, more than 100 billion. So there was speculation that Fubara want to step back from that
project.
There were also speculation that some of the projects that Amechi started, which Wike cancelled, and they became moribund, that Fubara wanted to
Go back to
restart
that.
them, and it did not sit well with Wike. So all these speculations as to
which brings us to the fact that Fubara wants to be independent. That's just the truth. He wants to be the leader.
That's the same thing. He wants to not totally independent, but to have a measure of independence.
Independence.
It's not as if it's not as if he totally wanted to remove Wike's influence, but as things rode, he was not supposed to have any influence as governor at all. That is what he is resisting. That is what he was, or he is resisting. So all these speculations, Wike has come out to deny the money aspect of it.
Yeah, I heard it now.
And he has come out to deny that one. But the speculations are there that there's a disagreement on what he's supposed to be given monthly.
That Wike is a bunch of corrupt and power-drunk person. Honestly, what he did, the kind of dirty politics he played during the 2003 presidential election, I don't know, that guy just treated politicians as if they were chase. He was just playing chase, political chase. First of all, kept people in suspense as to who he was going to support or whatever. Honestly, at a point, I thought he was going to support Peter Obi when Peter Obi visited him. I think
I did not have any doubt he was going for Tinubu. Anybody here who observed him knew very well that he was gunning to pull support for Tinubu. For me, I had no doubt at any point in time. Once he lost that vice presidential ticket, Atiku did not give him. That was the point that he made it his duty within his power to prevent Atiku Abubakar from becoming president. And he calculated that if he supported Peter Obi will not win. And then he will be out in the cold. So it is a cold calculation of a smart mind that wants to remain in the corridors of power. You calculate, you see that Atiku will not, you are going to frustrate Atiku, and you also calculate and see that even if you support Peter Obi, he will not win. In his own mind, let me finish. In his own calculation, the person that will win will be Tinubu. So he had to pitch his tent with Tinubu so that he can continue to remain in the corridors of power. That is a cold calculation of somebody that is, and he himself has said that when he fights, he leaves nobodies. He fights to the finish. He's brutal.
Yeah. When
you are his enemy, he's brutal. You better know who you are fighting.
I pray if Fubara does the right thing, if he plays the right game, like I say, if he establishes that distinction between him and Wike, establishing himself as a good person and Wike as the evil person, he will succeed. And what I pray, what I expect is for him to render Wike powerless in Rivers State, just as Wike rendered Amechi powerless. What he did, what Wike did to Amechi, I expect Fubara to do the same thing to him. And Amechi, in his own case, to be fair to him, Amechi wasn't this power drunk. If he were this power drunk, I bet, what is his name? He couldn't have allowed Wike to become governor. So Wike's own is just, that man is overbearing, overwhelmingly evil, and selfish and self-seeking. That's just it's just power drop.
Wike's governorship was beyond Amechi's this thing. Amechi was a pariah when he cast his lot with Buhari against Jonathan. From that moment, he became a pariah in Niger Delta. So it was obvious that he could, and then Jonathan was in power. It was obvious that he had no federal machinery to use to unseat or make sure that Wike did not win. So he calculated that after Buhari, the president will come to the south, and if he threw all his weight in support of Buhari, Buhari will pay back, will pay him back. And that has been the sort of his great disappointment today. What happened in the APC, that Buhari did not come out to, Amechi sacrificed a lot.
Yes, he did.
He took everything to Buhari's hometown, University of Transportation, everything he took to Buhari's hometown, just to ingratiate himself to Buhari for recompense when it comes to the presidential. And he wholeheartedly believed that Buhari will support him. And it was a devastating disappointment when he turned out the other way. Till today, it is difficult for him to find his voice. I'm telling you, till today it's difficult for him to find his voice.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad, honestly. Now on the wiki, my own is, I don't know how, honestly, you see, this, when he was given FCT Minister, ministerial appointments, I just felt, what on earth did Wike do to warrant? There are people that have sacrificed so much more for Tinubu than what Wike did. Wike just sacrificed what he did. He did what he did at the 11th hour. There are people who have been with Tinubu all these years, sacrificed so much or whatever. And I just thought, what on earth did Wike do to warrant him being given this powerful position of FCT Minister?
You are not thinking like a politician. Politicians are cold-blooded thinkers. They think of the next election. As we speak, Tinubu is thinking of 2027. And there are key states that they are desperate to control: Kano, Rivers, and others. You see what is playing out in Kano. And then in Rivers, Wike has succeeded in convincing him that he's a force to be reckoned with in Rivers State. So it's a positional issue. They are positioning for 2027. So that is how politicians think. They are cold-blooded thinkers. They are thinking only of your relevance, only of the quantum of your support, your ability and capacity. So they look at Wike and say, this is somebody that can get us Rivers State in the next election. That's why they have the confidence to dissolve the APC structures. They have seen how he beat Amechi in Rivers. So that is why they have to dissolve the structures of APC in Rivers and hand them over to Wike in preparation for 2027. And they had to also give him a commensurate ministerial appointment so that he will remain powerful, he will remain financially able to carry out his agenda. That is how politicians think.
Wow. Yeah, what you just said makes sense. But I just hope God does not allow them to succeed. Because with this, what you just said means that obviously Buhari, Tinubu will give him that federal power to really use that federal power to exert control over Rivers State. My hope and prayer, my prayer and hope is that Fubara will do the right thing, will play the right game, or play the game in the right way. as I said earlier, if he does it the way I just mentioned, I suggested or advised, honestly, because he's up against the highest and the mightiest in the Nigerian leadership. So he's up against the president. That's the truth. That's the facts. It's up against the president. President is just his hand is involved in this whole thing. So he has to establish that distinction. He has to. If he doesn't, if he continues, if it becomes business as usual, and the people of Rivers State cannot actually distinguish or differentiate between him and his predecessor, his last style of leadership, his government policies or whatever, that's the end of that's the end of him. Sort of. I hope and pray he fails. Wike and the president fails. That is, if another election, Nigeria will remain until remain up to 2027, because Nigeria is so crazy. I no longer have faith. I've never had faith in Buhari's Tinubu's leadership. It's still, to me, honestly, anytime I watch the news and I hear President Tinubu, I still feel like someone that is dreaming, because I remember I once predicted that Tinubu will never ever, as much as he's been fighting to become, I think I told you and I talked about it. I said, Tinubu, even though you had that confidence that he will bulldoze his way, but I told you that he will never succeed in doing that. I remember telling you that Buhari can never allow him to. Unfortunately, Buhari, I don't know what, probably the guy blackmailed him into chicken, because that Buhari would, I don't know. Anyway, I don't even want to digress. But the truth is, Buhari to himself that man was just a foolish man. He didn't, his calculation, I don't know what was his calculation, but it was a foolish calculation to have allowed supported after this man ridiculed you in the public. And single-handedly took glory for making you, took personal glory personally for your presidency, for making him, he took that glory for making him, for being the one that made you president. He did it publicly. He ridiculed you. I said, for God's sake, he took out that ego from you. He took that ego away from Buhari. Yet, honestly, that was the reason why I thought Buhari can never ever support him. And eventually I was wrong. So sad, so sad. So this Buhari Tinubu presidency is still like a dream. It's still like a dream, to be honest. Anytime I hear it, it's just like what happened in the case of Joe Biden. It took me almost 2 years for me to get over Joe Biden being the president of the US. Every day, first of all, when he became president, I first of all I stopped watching the news completely, because I was avoiding him hearing that name, him being addressed as President Joe Biden, because I never ever expect, my wildest dream, that Joe Biden will ever, going by his antecedents in politics, he's been a failure from the one. He's been in politics for 50-something years. As a failure, he has failed in every policy. There's not in a National Assembly, no policy. He's been a senator for 50-something years. There is no tangible policy that man has been able, that his name could be found on or can be found on. No. The only policy that they were able to dig out was the issue of this post office. The policy that I've forgotten post office policy. I've forgotten what they talked about the policy. That was irrelevant. That's the only thing. For 50 years, So the same thing applies to, and that's exactly the same thing I'm feeling about Tinubu. I still can't get a hold of the fact that he is really ruling us. the similarity between these two presidents can never be overemphasized. Both of them are corrupt. Their foundations are corrupt. They are corrupt people. They are ruling in a very corrupt way. Their policies are not popular. They are not popular in both countries. They just, everything about that, they just look as if they are from the same parents. So anyway, may God help Nigeria, because Tinubu is not the right person. He can never be the right person for Nigeria. Nigeria can never get it right with Tinubu. The budget should be an ample evidence. That's it. That's just it. Barrister, thank you so much. Do you have anything, as we close, do you have any thoughts?
Like I said, the drama that is happening in River State is yet to play out to its full potential. There is still room for both antagonists to continue to maneuver. So we remain here and see as things evolve. But now, like I said, public sympathy is with the governor. The only way that they can go about it is the use of brute force.
Which is possible. I expect that.
Which is possible.
Yeah.
And the manipulation of the court.
Judiciary, yes.
Which again is possible. So we remain and become prayerful so that the intentions of evil people like that should be aborted.
Yeah, honestly.
Should not come to fruition, should not come to success.
Amen, 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 honestly. Thank you so very much, Barrister A.A. Manta. And viewers, we'll keep you posted on this River State situation. Definitely, we'll follow what is happening and bring to you updates. Excuse me, on that. We have been having this discussion with Barrister Austin Manta, a legal practitioner, a man of legal pedigree, very high legal pedigree. I trust his judgment so much because I've known him for a very long time. And his legal expertise cannot be overemphasized because he has it all. He has it all. And he's a principal partner of A.A. Manta and Co. So Barrister, thank you so very much once again for joining us on this angle. Viewers, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain, and I wish you all a blessed month or end of year. Join us again next time. My name is JIBRIN on JIBRIN Angle. Thank you. God bless you.